Scientists remotely activate and deactivate genes with radio waves. Radio waves are now used to control genes. Scientists have shown that they can use nanoparticles and radio waves to turn genes on and off. Nanoparticles of metals like, well, you can guess some of them, like aluminum. They're being breathed in by everyone under the artificial clouds known as we know, chemtrails. So the hard part has been solved. Now how to get people to ingest nanoparticles. Well, now with radio waves, specific genes can be activated or deactivated remotely. Reported publicly so far in mice, there is no doubt a vastly more important potential in the control of human genes using the frequencies that just happen to be the ones utilized in, yes, you guessed it, they're the frequencies utilized in cell phones. Makes you wonder if all this is a plan by somebody to control the world and everybody in it. So we got the chemicals from chemtrails, and we got the frequency from our cell phones. There it goes. Now the radio waves can control our genes. We all know by now that the wicked people who control this world would only use such power for good, right? Scientists now activate remotely and deactivate genes by radio waves. Madison Rupert reports, editor of And the Line. Genetics at Rockefeller University in New York have demonstrated the ability to remotely activate and deactivate specially engineered insulin production genes in mice through the use of radio waves. As unbelievable as it sounds, this could represent a radically new understanding of how genes work, as well as the ability to create an entirely new field of medical treatments. Like many cutting-edge technologies such as mind-controlled robots, new lifelike humanoid robots, and microchips allowing mobile devices to see through walls and other objects, I see this breakthrough as having either radically benefited or unimaginably detrimental uses in the future. Unfortunately, it's become quite clear that the pharmaceutical industry and the agencies that supposedly regulate them, like the Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, are far from trustworthy. This latest advance could give scientists the ability to remotely modify and activate genes without any surgery or even traditional drugs, and of course without the knowledge of the person being changed. However, while they bill the treatment as completely non-invasive, this is not entirely accurate. The researchers did in fact have to inject nanoparticles into the mice being studied in order to affect the genes. Currently, the lead author of the study, Jeffrey Friedman, says that this will be applied to research, allowing scientists to manipulate cells in a non-invasive manner. However, Friedman, who is a molecular geneticist, says that if this technique is continuously refined, it could also have clinical applications. The study is called Radio Wave Heating of Iron Oxide Nanoparticles Can Regulate Plasma Glucose in Mice. And that was published in Science magazine earlier this month. The process which Friedman and his colleagues used involved coated iron oxide nanoparticles with antibodies, which then would bind to the modified version of an ion channel on the surface of cells. The target was a modified version of the temperature-sensitive ion channel known as TRPV1, and the researchers injected the particles into tumors growing under the skin of the mice being studied. The researchers then utilized a magnetic field created by a piece of hardware somewhat like a downsized magnetic resonance imaging MRI device to heat the nanoparticles. Low-frequency radio waves targeted the nanoparticles and heated them to 42 degrees Celsius, at which point the ion channel was activated, allowing calcium to flow into the cells and trigger secondary signals, which then went on to activate an engineered calcium-sensitive gene which produces insulin. After a mere 30 minutes of being exposed to low-frequency radio waves, the insulin level in the mice increased and their blood sugar levels dropped as well. However, Friedman emphasizes that this is not being done in order to create a new treatment for diabetes. Instead, it was just used and provides an easily measured physiological variable to monitor the activity of the remotely controlled genes. Quote, "There are many good treatments for diabetes that are much simpler," end quote, Friedman said, while recognizing that it could potentially be used to activate other proteins to treat other conditions as well. Using these low-frequency waves seems to be one of the most key components to this research. Quote, "The great thing about the system is that radio wave heating can penetrate deep tissue, and TRPVI can focus that stimulus very locally to just where you have the nanoparticles," end quote, said David Julius, a physiologist who studies TRPVI at the University of California, San Francisco, according to Nature magazine. This research is just in its fledgling stages at the moment, and his study is more of a proof of concept than anything else. That being said, if this is developed and applied to some of our hardest to tackle illnesses, I believe this could be a major breakthrough for human health. Yet at the same time, I could see this being used for less than admirable purposes as well, including actually making people sick. Hopefully such a thing would never occur, but unfortunately the pharmaceutical industry has proven that they are interested in profit, not health, so it would not be too surprising in my humble opinion. Did I forget anything or miss any errors? Would you like to make me aware of the story or subject to cover? Well, you can contact him here. He says, this is, he's got his contacts there. This is on Original Scientists, is to extend our view and understanding of the universe of creation from the standpoint. That's on Original Scientists blogspot. I'll leave a link below for you for this. As we said, the original article was from Scientists Remotely Activate from the nline.com.